Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is February 27th, 2025, and Gerard Pique has addressed the lingering question: will he run for Barcelona's presidency in the future? Also, Espanyol have vetoed any chance of negotiating with Barcelona for Jean Garcia. And finally, Messi's biographer has addressed the question or the rumor that Lionel Messi will be going back to Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we'll begin with the news that Gerard Pique has addressed the question on whether he will be running for Barcelona's presidency in the future. Now, Gerard Pique joined the podcast of Iker Casillas, which I had no idea that Iker Casillas has a podcast. I think it's a new project that the former Madrid and Spain goalkeeper has launched. It's called Bajo de los Palos, or Under the Posts. I guess that's how you would translate it, referring to the goalposts. But Gerard Pique joined Iker Casillas on his podcast when, of course, he was asked, are you going to be running for president of FC Barcelona in the future? Something that a lot of people have been asking for quite some time, ever since Gerard Pique retired. And well, this is what the former Barcelona defender had to say. From so many times that people ask you, in the end you end up valuing it. Being president of Barcelona has many more sacrifices than positive things can give you, and that is obvious. If you look back and see all the Barcelona presidents that have existed, the sacrifice they have made is above the return they have had. I do not have the need for others than what being president of Barcelona gives you. If one day I see that the club needs people like me, who have loved the club since I was little, who feel the colors, who know it inside out, who know what the social mass wants, my responsibility is to be there, because Barcelona has given me absolutely everything. I would tell you that I have this dilemma. On one hand, I coldly see that perhaps it is not worth it. On the other, one day maybe, sooner or later, maybe, maybe not. It depends on many circumstances. It depends on how the club is, about many factors in my personal life. I have to evaluate, but if I am needed, I will make myself available to the club, whatever the job. It does not have to be that of president. So there you have it, folks. Gerard Pique saying that, on one hand, being Barcelona president does suck. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, and you don't get much in return. But on the other hand, he loves this club so much. He feels the colors. He knows it inside out, that if he's needed, he would more than happy offer himself. Even though he knows the job sucks, he would be more than happy to offer himself, whether to be for president or on any other job, if the club needs him. Because again, despite the job sucking, Gerard Pique loves this club, so he's willing to sacrifice that in order to help the club of his life. Because of course, Gerard Pique has spent his whole life at Barcelona. He did leave for a while to Manchester United, but he came up through the academy, and he spent the rest of his career at Barcelona since joining back from Manchester. And in fact, he retired in Barcelona despite him being able to play a few more seasons somewhere else, because he didn't want to play anywhere else. He only wanted to play for Barcelona. Now, Gerard Pique did bring up an important point, which I kind of want to touch on it quickly, but Pique stated something about how the Barcelona masses, the fans, the socials, etc., stop paying attention to the club and how it's being run when the club is winning, and how that is dangerous. And I absolutely agree with him. This is something I've mentioned on previous videos, because let's not forget, when Bartomeu was president and he was mishandling the club, it wasn't no secret. We all knew what he was doing, but of course people looked the other way. Why? Because we had the MSN, we had Luis Enrique, we won the treble. So, nobody cared that Bartomeu was just spilling the club's money left and right. He was destroying the club, because as long as we were winning on the field, who cares what was happening behind closed doors? And that's a very dangerous thing. And this is why whenever John Laporta does something bad, I come out here and criticize it. But yet people get so upset with me. And even though This is what we should be doing, because no matter how we're doing on the field, whether we're doing great, we're doing bad, no matter who's the president, we have to keep these people responsible. We have to hold these people in check, because otherwise we've seen what happened, right? Bartomeu, Rosé, they didn't do this in the dark. They didn't do this behind, in secrecy. We all knew what was happening, but we let it happen, and we cannot let that happen again. It doesn't matter if it's Laporta who's president, if it's Pique who's president, if it's Lionel Messi who's president. If a president of Barcelona is not doing his job right, or if they do a mistake, we have to call it out. Period. That's the only way to continue, to making sure that our club is not mismanaged once again, like it happened during the Bartomeu and Sandro Rosé years. Anyways, let's move on to the next bit of news, because, ladies and gentlemen, Espanyol have vetoed any negotiations with Barcelona for their goalkeeper. Now, as I reported in yesterday's podcast, one of the goalkeepers that Barcelona are heavily considering is Jan Garcia, the 23-year-old goalkeeper currently at Espanyol. He has a contract until 2028, and he's a goalkeeper that Barcelona are very interested in, given his young age of 23 and given his trajectory, where this goalkeeper has been impressing season after season. This season, he's been absolutely spectacular. So Barcelona value this option very highly, especially since they are in the market looking for new goalkeepers, with Mark ter Stegen, of course, not getting any younger. Now, as we know, there is a lot of animosity between Barcelona and Espanyol due to their histories. And as such, as soon as Espanyol heard that Barcelona are interested in their goalkeeper, they have vetoed any kind of negotiations with the club. So if Barcelona want to sign Jan Garcia, they're not going to be able to negotiate with Espanyol. They're not going to be able to see, oh, hey, let's agree on this price or that price, maybe a swap deal. Nothing. No negotiations. The only way for Barcelona to be able to sign Jan Garcia is to pay his release clause, which is worth around 30 million euros, which, of course, is not a bad deal. But it's always nice to try to negotiate less, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Now, on to the next bit of news, because Ronald Araujo has given an extensive interview where he touched on many subjects, but I do want to focus on one of them, which explains why he has become a substitute under Flick, and it has to do, of course, with Hansi Flick's system, where Ronald Araujo said the following: no doubt about it, I've never played like this before, and I don't think almost anyone here has. I watch a lot of football, and the only one that does something similar is Liverpool, but not as risky as us. It's all about details. It's all about split seconds. You have to do it well, and of course, it's the first time we've worked in that way. That philosophy has given us results. So Ronald Araujo, of course, expressing how difficult it is to play under Hansi Flick's system, which is the high line, because you have to be 200% focused. It's all about the smallest little details. It's all about the split seconds, millimeters, and if it's not executed well, you can see how that can end up punishing us, with the line being so high. Of course, if you don't execute it well, then the attacker is left hand-to-hand versus your goalkeeper. And this, of course, explains why Ronald Araujo has been struggling, because we've seen him. He has not been able to adapt to this system too well. Hopefully that changes, because Ronald Araujo, to me, is one of the best defenders in Europe. So if he can improve that, adapt to Flick's system, I think we will be very good solidly. And then to answer this lingering question that's been going on really briefly, no, Hansi Flick should not be changing his system. As Ronald Araujo said, Flick's philosophy has given us results. It's thanks to Flick's philosophy that we won the Spanish Super Cup by thrashing Madrid. It's why we're first in La Liga. It's why we qualified to the knockout stages of the Champions League, being the second best team in all of Europe. It's why we're in the semifinals of the Copa del Rey. This system is giving us results. 120 goals this season so far. This team has been an absolute steamroller. So why the hell would you ask the coach to change the system that is giving us results? Would you have asked Pep Guardiola to stop doing the tiki-taka back in 2008 and 2009 every time he lost a match? No, that would be a very dumb thing to do. So why are people asking Flick to change his system? It's beyond me. Now, speaking of the Pep Guardiola years, let's talk about Lionel Messi. Because, as I reported in a previous video, Candal, the reporter who broke the story that Messi was going to join Inter Miami, dropped a bombshell on the news saying that Lionel Messi will be coming back to Barcelona. Of course, I came here on the channel and said that is absolutely BS. Barcelona have no plans to sign Lionel Messi, especially at 38 years old. Joan Laporta has a big beef with Messi and his entourage after everything that happened. Messi doesn't like Joan Laporta after everything that has happened. So both parties don't like each other, and Barcelona have no plans to sign him. So I said that story that makes absolutely no sense. And well, that has been officially confirmed by Guillem Balaguet. If you don't know who Guillem Balaguet is, he is Messi's personal biographer, someone who knows the player pretty well, who tweeted today that no, Messi is not coming back to Barcelona as long as Joan Laporta is the president. So there you have it, folks. Messi is not coming back. Yes, his contract does expire at the end of this season with Inter Miami, but most likely Inter Miami will convince him to stay there longer. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did upload another video before this one, so make sure you check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.